Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. So today, I figured I will go back to a franchise I've spoken about before. Yeah boy, it's a Cloverfield franchise for this video. And yeah, the thing is that I've been really slacking on reviewing these movies because I didn't like the first one. I really did not like the first one. And I thought the second movie was actually kind of decent actually. So I'll be reviewing the third movie, the Cloverfield Paradox. So for this time around, they're gonna do a future. Yeah, it's in a future kind of a thing. So there you go.
Future! Future!
But also, I guess in some ways as well, it's kind of mixing the genre of horror together. So in some ways, I've kind of used this as an excuse to talk about spooky movies, which is fine by me because I like horror movies anyway. So there you go. I'm okay, it's not the first time I would have reviewed a sci-fi horror movie, but whatever the case may be, I guess, whatever. Anyway, the thing is that I actually purchased this at the dollar store. Boy, so yeah, my expectations are fairly low. Not that they were really high to begin with, because like I said, I didn't like the first movie. I thought the first movie was terrible, and the second movie was fairly decent, I guess you can say. So anyway, of course, as always, let's talk about the plot, obviously. So here we go. So anyway, I was saying it is set in the future, obviously, and yeah, this whole thing with the thing with these international group of astronauts that's on board of this space station. So what's going on here is that there's an attempt to solve the Earth's energy crisis, and there's the whole bit with that, and then of course gotta find a way home when the planet seemingly vanishes and whatnot. So it's pretty crazy. And to be more specific here, this movie is supposed to be set in the year 2028, where the Earth is suffering from a global energy crisis. The space agencies of the world prepare to test this kind of a thing. This thing, of course, is orbiting the Cloverfield station. And yes, by the way, they do reference the other movies, in case you're wondering, because it's supposed to take place in the same universe or whatever. And but anyway, I guess more on that in a minute. So anyway, so what's happening is that which will provide Earth with some infinite energy with this thing that they're working on. While there are these conspiracy theorists fear that it will create the Cloverfield paradox, thus opening portals to these parallel universes, allowing the horrors to threaten Earth. So we got that whole drama going on there. So like I was saying, there was this whole thing with these crew members, and these crew members have their own little story going on, of course. So anyway, about after 2 years of unsuccessful attempts to activate this thing, the crew pretty much activates this seemingly stable beam, but it overloads and creates this power surges on the station. So after restoring the basic power, they find that Earth has vanished from view for some reason. So there's some kind of aid thing that's going on here as well in the station's navigation system is missing. So I guess to complicate things even further. So the crew works on repairs. So obviously, as you can imagine yourself, there's gonna be some strange events that start to begin and whatnot. So there's that. So like, what the hell is happening here? What's going on? What's the matter here? So things just get more complicated as you may expect yourself. And yeah, it's not an easy thing for this to occur, obviously, but here we are. So yes, obviously they're trying to add some human drama in this movie, which I'm fine with actually. That's fine. I don't mean that. I don't mean that as a bad thing, obviously. So yes, of course, this is going to have a different direction compared to the previous two installments, and of course, it's connected to the previous films, while simultaneously telling its own story to some extent, I guess you can say, which is doesn't have to be a bad thing either. So there's that, I suppose. Obviously, yes, they're still gonna have this like kaiju element in this film, which is consistent because that was there in the previous two installments. So they continue that, but at least to some extent of it, they are, and that's again, like I said, that's totally fine, I suppose. But anyway, that's basically what's going on in this movie. It's all just a bunch of bizarre stuff and whatnot. And the way it's choreographed, it's actually pretty good here. I like the way that was choreographed, and that's probably the best thing I can say about this. Aside from kaiju stuff, I always like giant monster stuff. So yes, I'm kind of using it as an excuse to talk about some giant monster stuff. So, but anyway, anyway, aside from that, yeah, this movie's okay. It's it's okay. It's just kind of boring, really, in some ways. But in some ways, I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel bad for saying that because of the fact the only one I really felt that was actually kind of watchable was the second movie, and that was it. That was it, really. The fourth one was terrible, and the third one, which is the one I'm talking about here, it's just okay. I mean, if I got nothing else to do, and if I just want something as background noise, I guess I could put this on, I suppose. So because as it stands, it's okay. I thought it was pretty okay, I suppose. So anyway, so it's just that the thing is that you can spend as many great much money and great effects and a solid crew, but it's not going to really make up for the lousy script, really. If the special effects here is actually quite solid, actually. So this goes to show you that this kind of stuff doesn't necessarily have to remain as low budget stuff. At the very least, it doesn't look low budget, so I'll give it that. Because it could goes to show you that you could actually do something more than just the low budget stuff, like these movies that tend to be. So that's something I suppose. I just wish that the story itself was stronger, really is what I'm saying. The acting was okay, the set pieces were okay. So the way it's choreographed, like I was saying, is okay. So I mean, you could always argue that talking about the whole parallel universe kind of a thing may come up like an excuse for like every absurd character development that this movie would use. I guess you can say. I mean, yes. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, some people believe that a second universe or a third universe could uh, could be a possibility. So a lot of people out there actually do believe that could be a thing. By the way, this actually went to Netflix, just so you know, which I don't want to discuss because they know what they did. I don't like Netflix like at all. Anyway, just so you know, good thing I bought this on Dollar Store instead. I much rather spend my money at the Dollar Store than spend my money on the Netflix. Yeah, that's saying something there. The premise here is actually pretty good. I like the idea that this movie presents. So there was that. I actually like that, and there's actually some nice tension throughout the entire movie. So there's some good moments throughout the entire movie. There's some good tension. There's some good moments sprinkled out the entire thing. So yeah, just the thing is that I just wish they trying to make this story a bit more believable in some ways. So it kind of falls apart instantaneously. So in other words, it's just the lazy writing that does not make up for this kind of a thing, really. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that the trailers themselves, the trailers for this movie, are actually a lot better than the movie itself. Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, if you see the trailers right now, it actually makes me want to see the movie, and then I'll go actually see the movie, and it's just whatever. It's just bland. It's just very bland. Oh boy. It's just that the characters were presented in such a way that I have no empathy for any of them. On the whole, they were just unlikable because of the writing. Like, again, the writing was just not very good here, really. I mean, I want to like him. It's nothing I didn't want to. And before anyone says anything, I didn't come to this movie to shit on it, all right? Just to attack it. I was trying to give it a shot because I actually thought the second movie was actually kind of all right, really. It was actually kind of decent. But the first movie and the third movie, not so much. I'll say this though, I did think the third movie, which is this one I'm talking about, is better than the first movie. So if anything, if I had to rate these movies, I would say that the first one is really bad, and maybe the second movie would probably be the best one of three, and then the third movie would be like somewhere in the middle of that. If I had to rank these movies, I guess for now, assuming they don't make anymore, we'll just see how things go, I guess. But all in all, not the worst thing I've seen, but it's just a major disappointment. It's just okay, very, very, very okay. Oh boy, it could have been more though. I guess if anything, it's just the wasted potential that pisses me off here. If anything, so I'll give this an overall rating of a 5.0 out of 10. It's a 5.0 out of 10 because it's just okay, very adequate. Thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see you.